So it's indeed a great pleasure to welcome all of you to this session uh, of another index, which is Index 23 on borrowing cost. Uh, this index, of course, like any other index, is very important from the perspective of the financial accounting and financial reporting. Uh, in the context of the framework, as we have discussed on previous occasions. So, this is what we have done so far. So, besides discussing the overview of all the 39 standards, framework, uh, roadmap for implementation of INDES, and Division 2 of the Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013, we also have covered 6 different indices already, which I think is a good progress. Uh, Today, the plan, of course, is to do Index 23 on borrowing cost. We will discuss many of the aspects of the borrowing cost for sure. Uh, so, before we move forward, I think it's necessary that we must understand as to what is borrowing cost and what is the significance of this standard Index 23 that says borrowing cost. Now, if you really ask me, the title of this standard should have been capitalization of borrowing cost and not the borrowing cost alone, because this standard is not merely about borrowing cost, it is more about the capitalization of borrowing cost. And when we say capitalization of borrowing cost, we must understand as to what is the meaning of capitalization of the borrowing cost here. See, remember, in business, what you do in business, you are many times uh, acquiring or producing or manufacturing capital assets. And those capital assets, not only capital assets, but some other assets as well. Now, these assets will take substantially long period in acquisition, in manufacturing, and in production. And therefore, in all these cases, invariably, you will not only be incurring the material cost and the other cost, but you will also be incurring a substantial part of the interest cost. That means for manufacturing or acquiring or producing these assets, you would have borrowed funds. And on those borrowed funds, you would be paying interest. Effectively, interest that you are paying on the funds that you have borrowed for acquiring, producing, or manufacturing these assets are the cost which are directly attributable to these assets. And therefore, these interest costs, these borrowing costs need to be capitalized. So, what is the meaning here of capitalization? The meaning here of the term capitalization is that you add this cost of the borrowing onto the cost of the asset, and that is the meaning of capitalization of the borrowing cost. So, this is what we must understand, and we must keep it in our mind from the very beginning when it comes to the understanding of the Index 23 about the borrowing cost. So, what are we going to cover in this session today? Let's begin. So, number one, first the purpose of Index 23. तो सबसे पहले तो हमें ये समझना होगा कि भाई 23 इंडेक्स का पर्पस क्या है. तो अभी जैसा कि हम पहले डिस्कस करते आए हैं, किसी भी इंडेक्स का प्राइमरीली एक जो पर्पस है वो ये है कि टू प्रेस्क्राइब द अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट with regard to that index so that the financial statements are prepared in a manner that they serve the purpose of user of those financial statements. So what purpose the user of the financial statement is looking forward to? He is looking forward to, number one, he should be able to evaluate the performance of the business, the financial position of the business, and the cash flow of the business, cash flow position of the business. Consequently, he should be able to take well informed economic decision. And so that is the purpose of इंडेस 23. तो इंडेस 23 ये बताता है कि जब आप कोई क्वालिफाइंग एसेट अक्वायर कर रहे हो या मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हो या प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो, और उस एसेट के लिए अगर आप कोई इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट इनकर कर रहे हो, तो वो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट का ट्रीटमेंट क्या होना चाहिए और कैसे होना चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट इंडेस 23 tells, and this is the purpose of index 23. What is this index 23 on borrowing cost is all about? Point number 2, as I mentioned, this index 23, which is about the borrowing cost, is all about how to treat, how to account for the borrowing cost in respect of certain assets. Those assets are defined under the index as the qualifying assets. Now, what those qualifying assets are and how do you define them? Which are the assets that would fall into the category of the qualifying assets? We will understand as we progress together. What is a borrowing cost? I have told you. तो whenever there is a qualifying asset, और मैं यहाँ आपको बता दूँ qualifying asset का मतलब क्या है. Qualifying asset का मतलब है ऐसी asset जिसको पूरा होने में for the intended purpose or intended use or for sale is going to take substantial time. Such assets are defined as qualifying assets. And what is the significance of defining such assets as qualifying assets? The significance of defining such assets as qualifying assets is such assets become eligible for capitalization of the borrowing cost which is incurred for acquiring or producing or manufacturing any of these qualifying assets. So this is what you need to bear in your mind as to what is the borrowing cost and what is the meaning of capitalization of the borrowing cost. We have understood what is qualifying asset. We have understood as of now in principle. We will understand in greater detail. You would have noticed, friends, whenever I am starting any session with you, I am always creating a boundary for you. And in that boundary, I am trying to explain everything that I am going to discuss with you in brief in the beginning itself. Why do I do this? I do this because there is something called as cognitive conflict. And you must understand, for the purpose of pedagogy, what is cognitive conflict. Cognitive conflict is the process where you create enough vacuum of inquisitiveness in the minds of your students so that when you are explaining those concepts, your students are able to very easily capture those concepts. And that is what I always do with you when I take all these questions one by one. So we understand what is qualifying asset. The next thing that I am going to discuss with you is why it is necessary to capitalize the borrowing cost in respect of qualifying asset. अब देखिए इंडेस 23 के अंदर क्या प्रोविजन है. इंडेस 23 के अंदर प्रोविजन है, जैसा कि हमने डिस्कस किया ऑलरेडी, इंडेस 23 में ये प्रोविजन है कि अगर कोई क्वालिफाइंग एसेट है और उस क्वालिफाइंग एसेट को कंस्ट्रक्ट करने के लिए, मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए या प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए अगर आपने डेट लिया हुआ है, अगर आपने फंड्स बोरो किए हुए हैं, तो उसका मतलब क्या होगा? उसका मतलब ये होगा कि उस बोरोड फंड्स के ऊपर आप जो इंटरेस्ट भरेंगे, दैट इंटरेस्ट हैज टू बी loaded to this plant and machinery or loaded to this qualifying asset. And why it is loaded to this qualifying asset? It is to be loaded to this qualifying asset so as to reflect the correct cost of that asset in your books. And that is the purpose of the index 23. and that is the purpose of qualifying the borrowing cost. What are the challenges in determining the amount of borrowing cost eligible for capitalization? बहुत अच्छी बात है, बहुत वेरी गुड, वेरी नाइस कि आप समझ गए ये चीज़ को कि भाई आपको बोरोइंग कॉस्ट को कैपिटलाइज करना है. आप ये भी समझ गए कि बोरोइंग कॉस्ट को क्यों कैपिटलाइज करना है. बट इज इट सो सिंपल in every situation to be able to identify the borrowing cost that you need to capitalize? It may not really be so in many cases. What those cases are, what those situations are, when it would not be possible for you to easily identify कि कितना अमाउंट है जो कि आपको कैपिटलाइज करना चाहिए. We will understand those situations as part of Index 23. How to treat income earned ऑन फ्रॉम टेम्परेरी इन्वेस्टमेंट. अब देखो ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आप एक क्वालिफाइंग एसेट को कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हो या प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो या उसको आप एक्वायर कर रहे हो, और इस क्वालिफाइंग एसेट के लिए आपने डेट लिया हुआ है, आपने बोरोइंग ली हुई है, आपने लोन लिया हुआ है, और आप क्या कर रहे हो कि अंटिल द टाइम यू रियली यूज दिस मनी इज अवेलेबल विद यू. तो आपने क्या किया, आपने इस पैसे को कहीं इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, और करना भी चाहिए क्योंकि पैसा अगर आपके पास में है और आपके बैंक में पड़ा है, इट इज वेस्ट. सो वेरी राइटली यू इन्वेस्ट इट समवेयर, एंड व्हेन यू इन्वेस्ट इन समवेयर व्हाट हैपेंस, यू अर्न इंटरेस्ट. सो another question that you need to answer and that you need to understand, what do you do with such interest, such income that you earn from the temporary investment of these borrowed funds? And that is what we would look at point number 11. Point number 12, how do you differentiate between the specific borrowings and the general borrowings? तो देखिए, जब आप इंडेक्स 23 को जब डीपली पढ़ते हैं तो आपको ध्यान में आता है कि there are two kinds of borrowings the Index 23 talks about. Which are those two types of borrowings that the Index 23 talks about? It talks about specific borrowing and it talks about general borrowing. And आप समझ सकते हैं, it's not a big rocket science. So what is the meaning of specific borrowing? Specific borrowing का मतलब ये है कि जिस एसेट की आप बात कर रहे हैं, जिस क्वालिफाइंग एसेट की आप अकाउंटिंग की बात कर रहे हैं, और जो आपने लोन लिया हुआ है, जो आपने डेट लिया हुआ है, दैट डेट, दैट लोन यू हैव टेकन स्पेसिफिकली only for this asset. So what is the advantage? The advantage is if there is a specific borrowing, that means the loan that you have taken is for a specific asset, then the accounting is not an issue. And why the accounting is not an issue? Because this is a specific borrowing for a particular asset. So whatever is the borrowing cost, whatever is the interest, the entire amount of interest is going to be capitalized on this asset only, and there that's why things are much simple. लेकिन एक दूसरी सिचुएशन भी हो सकती है. And what is the second situation? The second situation is the borrowings are general. Now what is the meaning of general borrowing? The meaning of general borrowing is the company has taken loan, the entity has taken loan not for a specific asset, it has taken the loan for many assets. और कंपनी ने क्या है, क्या जगह जगह से लोन लिया है. दे आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम डिफरेंट सोर्सेज. द एंटिटी हैज टेकन द बोरोइंग फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट सोर्सेज. द एंटिटी हैज टेकन द बोरोइंग, एंड not only it has taken the borrowing from the different sources, but all these borrowings put together are going to be used for different qualifying assets. And that is the difference between the specific borrowing and the general borrowing. And I'm sure you can understand, when it comes to general borrowing, there is a challenge. And what is the challenge? How do you identify the amount of debt, the amount of borrowing cost that you must capitalize on a particular asset? That becomes a separate exercise. That becomes a separate computation. That becomes a separate calculation. And that you have to do as prescribed under the Index 23. How is that done? We will understand. Then we look at the point number 13. How do these matter? And how do these matter? That means how the specific borrowing or the general borrowing would matter. How the specific borrowing or the general borrowing would matter. So this is what we will discuss from the point of view of cost eligibility. How to determine, the point number 14 that we are going to cover, how to determine the amount of borrowing cost eligible for capitalization when the funds are borrowed generally by the entity. ठीक है, तो वो बहुत सारे सोर्सेस से लोन लिया हुआ है और बहुत सारे सोर्सों से जो लोन लिया हुआ है वो लोन को अलग अलग क्वालिफाइंग एसेट्स के ऊपर यूज कर रहे हैं. तो ऐसी सिचुएशन में एज एन एंटिटी हाउ विल यू फाइंड आउट द एलिजिबल अमाउंट फॉर कैपिटलाइजेशन, यानी कि वो अमाउंट जो आप कैपिटलाइज करेंगे, आपको कैपिटलाइज करना चाहिए, उस अमाउंट को कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे. एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी विल अंडरस्टैंड एट पॉइंट नंबर 14. द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज 15. कैन द अमाउंट ऑफ बोरिंग कॉस्ट that an entity capitalizes exceed the amount of borrowing cost. अब देखिए बहुत सिंपल सा सवाल है. सवाल ये है कि is it possible that the amount of borrowing cost that you are capitalizing is exceeding the amount of total borrowing cost? And I can give you the answer right away. The answer is no. And why the answer is no? The answer is no because you obviously cannot capitalize more interest than what you are incurring. So if your interest cost is, let's say, 10 lakhs, obviously the maximum that you can capitalize as prescribed under Ind AS 23 is 10 lakhs. So the amount of capitalization of the borrowing cost can never exceed the amount of interest that you are incurring on the debts that you have taken with regard to those assets per se. Then we look at question number 16. How will you treat excess of the carrying amount of a qualifying asset over its recoverable asset? Again very interesting. क्या सवाल है? ये सवाल ये है कि जो क्वालिफाइंग एसेट है, अगर उस क्वालिफाइंग एसेट की कैरिंग अमाउंट is more than the recoverable amount. And I'm sure you will recollect our discussion in the previous session on Ind AS 16 about property, plant and equipment, where we spoke about the impairment. So the question that we are discussing is nothing but a case of impairment. What is impairment? Impairment is the carrying amount of the asset. Carrying amount of the asset is more than the recoverable amount. That means what? That means there is a clear-cut case of impairment. So what will you do in a case like this? You will do in a case like this what we discussed in the context of Ind AS 16 about the property, plant and equipment. That means you will find out the amount of the impairment and then you will take the same to your profit and loss account. And this is what you will do as far as the question number 16 is concerned. Question number 17. From which date, or point number 17, it's not question number 17, it is point number 17. And I'm sure friends, when I'm discussing all these points one by one, there must be a lot of clarity coming to your mind as I can think and I can imagine and I can visualize. Point number 17, from which date to commence capitalization of the borrowing cost? सवाल ये है, समझ गए भाई साहब कि हमको borrowing cost को capitalize करना है, लेकिन सवाल ये है कि किस डेट से कैपिटलाइज करना है, बोरोइंग कॉस्ट को किस डेट से कैपिटलाइज करना है. इज इट फ्रॉम द डेट ऑन विच यू टेक द लोन, और इज इट फ्रॉम द डेट व्हेन यू स्टार्ट स्पेंडिंग द मनी, और इट इज सम अदर डेट. And that is what we will understand with regard to point number 17. Point number 18, how to treat the grants received in connection with the assets. So see, many times it can happen that you are getting a grant from a government for acquiring a particular asset. So the grant which you are getting for in respect of construction or acquisition or production of an asset is, really speaking, what it is going to do for you. It is going to reduce the cost of that asset for you, because the grant is coming from the government. That means this money is available to you for free since you are making that qualifying asset. So what will you do with this grant? How will you record for this grant? And I can give you the answer right away. You will reduce the amount of grant from the total cost of the asset, and the balance amount is what you will show in your books as the cost of that qualifying asset. And this is the the answer for the point number 18. Let's look at point number 19. What is the effective period for capitalization of borrowing cost? अब सवाल ये समझ गए कि borrowing cost क्या है, समझ गए qualifying asset क्या है, समझ गए capitalization क्या है. अब सवाल ये है कि for what period you do the capitalization? And of course the answer is very simple. You do the capitalization of the borrowing cost for the period during which the qualifying asset is under development. So that means from the time you take the loan and start spending it on the development of that asset, that qualifying asset, till the time you complete all the activities for completing that qualifying asset. For this period, whatever borrowing cost that you incur, you will capitalize it. Once the asset is complete for the intended use or sale, thereafter any interest that you pay will not be capitalized. That interest will go to your P&L account. That interest will go to your P&L account. Now, question point number 20. What is the meaning of suspension of capitalization of borrowing cost? क्या मतलब है इसका? सस्पेंशन ऑफ कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ बोरोइंग कॉस्ट क्या मतलब है? व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ सस्पेंशन? सो द मीनिंग ऑफ सस्पेंशन इज, रिमेंबर हमने बात करी कि व्हाट इज द पीरियड फॉर विच यू विल डू द कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ द बोरोइंग कॉस्ट. सस्पेंशन का मतलब क्या है? सस्पेंशन का मतलब ये है कि अगर इस दरमियान, if from the date when you start spending money on the development of the asset and the date on which you complete the asset, इस बीच में अगर किसी कारण से आपको डेवलपमेंट को सस्पेंड करना पड़ता है and which is not a normal reason for the stoppage, in that case you will also need to suspend कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ द बोरोइंग कॉस्ट. यानी कि समझो 12 महीने किसी कारण से आपका काम बंद रहा. 12 महीने इज 12 मंथ इज द टोटल इफेक्टिव पीरियड ऑन विच यू हैव टू डू द कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ द बोरोइंग कॉस्ट. बट ड्यूरिंग दिस 12 मंथ, फॉर सम रीजन 1 month देयर वॉज नो वर्क, नो डेवलपमेंट वर्क ऑन दिस एसेट. तो 1 महीने का जो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट होगी आप उसको कैपिटलाइज नहीं कर सकेंगे एज पर द इंड AS 23. सो दैट मीन्स व्हेन द वर्क इज सस्पेंडेड, then the capitalization is also suspended. But remember, it is not that every suspension of the work will stop you from capitalization of the borrowing cost. No, in certain cases, even if the work stops or delays, you will still be able to capitalize the interest. Let's say, for example, the water level is very high, and since the water level is very high, you are not able to construct the bridge, and bridge is the qualifying asset. Now you are not able to complete the bridge because the water level is high, so the completion of the bridge is suspended because the water level is high and which is not in under your control. So that means during this period, even though the work is suspended, but you would still be eligible to capitalize the borrowing cost, right? So it's only stoppage, suspension of the work, which is for no such reason that you will need to suspend the capitalization of the borrowing cost. Point number 21. What does suspension? When does suspension of capitalization of the borrowing cost happens? As I explained to you this already. Point number 22. What is the meaning of cessation of capitalization? Cessation of capitalization का मतलब है कि कब, किस तारीख से capitalization of the borrowing cost will stop, because you cannot keep on capitalizing the borrowing cost for infinity. You are eligible to capitalize the borrowing cost only until the period the machine development, the work is in progress on the development of the qualifying asset. Once the qualifying asset is complete, ready for use or ready for sale, immediately thereafter capitalization of interest, capitalization of the borrowing cost will cease, and that means any interest you pay after that date is going to be charged to your profit and loss account and not capitalized on the qualifying asset. Then of course, uh, how about cessation of capital? So ऐसा भी ऐसा हो सकता है कि you are working on the development of a qualifying asset which has got many parts, and these parts are such that individually also these parts can be sold or these parts can be put to use. Now, if out of these four parts, if the one part is completed and it is ready for sale, or it is ready for use, then what you do? Three parts are remaining on which the work is going on. This fourth part is complete, ready to use, ready for sale. Now what you do? Answer of course is very simple. Only with regard to this part which is complete and ready to use or ready for sale, you will cease the capitalization of the borrowing cost. For the other parts, the capitalization of the borrowing cost will continue until the time you are able to complete the development of those qualifying assets as well. Okay, thank you, Sachin bhai. Nice to hear your comment as always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, friends, let's move forward and look at these points one by one, and I'm sure this will, of course, will help you to understand the entire Index 23 very clearly. अब देखो फ्रेंड्स, मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताता हूँ कि जब आप इंडेक्स 23 को या कोई सा भी इंडेक्स को जब आप पढ़ने जाते हो तो यू वुड हैव नोटिस्ड, यू वुड हैव एक्सपीरियंस्ड that many times the language and the statements, the way they are structured, it is quite complex, and when it is quite complex, you are not really able to make sense out of it even after a lot of struggling. And therefore my effort in designing all these sessions is to ensure that all these standards are put to you in the simplest of the words, not only in simplest of the words, but they are explained to you in such a systematic manner that each and everything becomes very clear to you. Not only each and everything becomes very clear to you, but you are also able to remember it and remember it forever. And why remember it forever? Because it's my endeavor to make you understand. और एक बार आप समझ गए तो उसको याद रखना बहुत आसान हो जाता है. So सबसे पहला सवाल कि वाई दिस इंडेक्स ऑन बोरिंग कॉस्ट, कि भाई 39 इंडेक्सेस हैं एज वी ऑल नो एज पार्ट ऑफ द इंडेक्स फैमिली. एक सवाल वो जो आपके दिमाग में आना चाहिए और वो ये कि भाई ये इंडेक्स 23 की ज़रूरत क्यों पड़ी. तो अगर आपको याद होगा तो जब हमने इंडेक्स 16 की बात करी, यू नो व्हेन वी डिस्कस्ड इंडेक्स 16 ऑन द प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट, तो तभी आपको याद होगा कि हमने प्रॉपर्टी प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट के कॉस्ट ऑफ एलिमेंट्स की बात करी. यू नो व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट कॉस्ट ऑफ different elements of cost as far as the property plant and equipment was concerned. And I am sure you would remember we said purchase price is one, which is the direct cost of the property plant and equipment. Besides that, we also discussed that there are certain costs which are directly attributable to the property plant and equipment. Like what? Like cost of site preparation, cost of initial delivery and handling, cost of installation and assembly, cost of testing and professional fees. And we also discussed in that context for yesterday when we talked about the property plant and equipment, we talked about the borrowing cost. And remember, invariably and more so in case of the capexes, the borrowing cost at times it quite sizable element of the total cost of the asset that we are discussing as in the context of Index 23 as qualifying asset. So since the size of the asset, since the borrowing cost as a component of the total asset is sizable, it becomes very essential to do the accounting of this borrowing cost appropriately. अब देखिए इसके इम्प्लीकेशन क्या होंगे, जरा ध्यान दीजिए. depending on the amount of interest capitalized, the amount of carrying cost of the asset will change in your balance sheet. And obviously, so अगर आप borrowing cost को capitalize कर रहे हो, that means you are adding the borrowing cost to the asset cost. The carrying amount of that cost is the carrying amount of the property, plant and equipment is going to increase. So when the amount, the carrying amount of the asset is going to increase, obviously it will have implications on the depreciation. So that means to that extent, it will have the impact on the profitability. It will have the impact on the balance sheet. And that is the reason why proper accounting of borrowing cost becomes necessary, becomes relevant, becomes important, so as to ensure user of your financial statements is given the information that is going to help him take well informed economic decisions. So that is the reason, friends, why do we have Ind AS 23 on borrowing cost. I hope that makes sense to every one of you, because this understanding in your mind has to be there, because this understanding prepares the foundation for you to understand various aspects of the borrowing cost, of the accounting of the borrowing cost. Now let us look at some of the definitions. So number one, what is a borrowing cost? अब देखिए borrowing cost मुझे आपको define करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि borrowing cost क्या है? Borrowing cost is the cost. Borrowing cost, the cost or the finance cost or the interest cost or the interest that you pay on the monies that you have borrowed. That is borrowing cost. As simple as that. So what is borrowing cost? Borrowing cost is the cost that you incur or that you pay on the loans that you have taken for funding your assets. That's your borrowing cost. It may include what? It may include number one, interest expense calculated using effective interest method as described in Ind AS 109 on financial instruments. तो if जो interest आप calculate करेंगे for the purpose of borrowing cost, it can be also based on the effective interest method as prescribed in Ind AS 109, which is on financial instruments. अब मैं आपको बता दूं कि ये इफेक्टिव इंटरेस्ट मेथड है क्या. देखो, एक तो सिंपल इंटरेस्ट मेथड है, और इफेक्टिव इंटरेस्ट मेथड का मतलब होता है डी फैक्टो यू आर नॉट चार्जिंग इंटरेस्ट ऑन द सिंपल रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, यू आर चार्जिंग इंटरेस्ट ऑन द कंपाउंडेड रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. सो द कंपाउंडेड रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, इन अदर वर्ड्स, इज रेफर्ड एज effective rate of interest. So the borrowing cost will include number one, the interest calculated based on the effective rate interest method. Number two, finance charges in respect of finance leases. So remember, it is possible that in your entity, in your company, the entity may have taken certain assets on the lease basis. और हमको मालूम है कि हम जो लीज रेंट पे करते हैं, that lease rent payment, जो EMI जो हम भरते हैं, it has got two component. One is the principal and second is the finance charge. So the finance charge included in the lease rent that you pay is part of your finance cost or part of your borrowing cost. Number three, exchange differences arising from foreign currency borrowing. So in case if your entity has taken a foreign currency loan, so in case of foreign currency loan, there may be differences on account of the variations in the exchange rate. Now such variations in the exchange rate may be accounted for as interest, as your borrowing cost. So these, friends, are your borrowing cost. So three components to the borrowing cost. The first component to the borrowing cost is the interest calculated based on the effective rate of method. Second component of the borrowing cost is the finance charge component of the lease rent that you pay. And the third component of the borrowing cost is the difference in case of the difference on account of exchange rate fluctuations in respect of the loan which are denominated in foreign currency. What is a qualifying asset? And as I explained to you earlier, a qualifying asset is an asset that necessarily takes substantial period of time to get ready for its intended use or sale. तो अब देखो, एक नॉर्मल प्रोडक्ट है, आप बनाते हो, 2 दिन में बन जाता है, 4 दिन में बन जाता है, 1 दिन में बन जाता है, आधे दिन में बन जाता है. नाउ इन केस ऑफ सच प्रोडक्ट्स there is no problem, because these products are not making substantial time to be produced or manufactured or acquired for the purpose of intended use or sale. They are just happening quickly. But in certain cases it may take a considerably long time, जैसा कि मैंने शुरुआत में आपको बताया. In those cases remember, you are eligible to capitalize the interest cost, and these are the assets which are defined as eligible interest. तो थोड़ा सा ब्रीफ में समरी में बोल दूं, तो समरी में बोलूंगा कि वो एसेट्स जिनको तैयार होने में नॉर्मल से ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है, those assets are qualified, those are assets are referred as qualifying assets. And what is the relevance of qualifying asset? It is on a qualifying asset that you capitalize the borrowing cost, and that is what you must remember. Please also remember at the same time, and this is very important, that Ind AS 23 does not define as to what is the substantial period of time. So Ind AS 23 does not tell you कि 3 महीने का टाइम हो या 6 महीने का टाइम हो या 1 साल का टाइम हो या 1.5 साल का टाइम हो या 2 महीने का टाइम हो. That will be considered as substantial period of time. Ind AS 23 does not tell you. It is all to be the matter of judgment of the management, and that judgment of the management will depend on the circumstances of the situation. तो वो जो क्वालिफाइंग एसेट है उसमें कितना टाइम लग रहा है उसको बनने में, उसकी टोटल कॉस्ट क्या है, वो सारे फैक्टर्स को डिसाइड करके मैनेजमेंट विल हैव टू टेक ए कॉल दैट दिस एसेट is taking substantial period of time in getting ready for the intended use or for sale. अब यहाँ पर what is the summary? The summary is the substantial period of time not defined in Ind AS. That means it has to be decided by the management based on the given situation. अब एक चीज और बता दूं, the use, intended use or sale is also not defined in Ind AS 23. तो अब इसका हमको मतलब निकालना पड़ेगा. तो क्या मतलब है इसका? Intended use, a qualifying asset for intended use, यानी कि एक qualifying asset जिसको कि आप अपने बिजनेस में यूज करने वाले हो, that is intended use. और दूसरी क्वालिफाइंग एसेट इंटेंडेड फॉर सेल, जिसका मतलब कि आप उसको बना के आप उसको मार्केट में बेचने वाले हो या कस्टमर को सेल करने वाले हो. सो दैट इज इंटेंडेड फॉर सेल. सो एक क्वालिफाइंग एसेट, एंड ध्यान दीजिए, एक क्वालिफाइंग एसेट कैन बी फॉर इंटेंडेड यूज. दैट मीन्स यू आर गोइंग टू यूज दैट एसेट विद इन योर एंटिटी. सो दैट मीन्स आप एक नई बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हो, राइट? व्हेन यू आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग ए न्यू बिल्डिंग for your operations. Now this building that you are constructing is intended for use, यानी कि उसका इस्तेमाल आपके खुद के ऑपरेशंस में होगा. आपकी कंपनी एक शिप बना रही है या एयरक्राफ्ट बना रही है, और वो एयरक्राफ्ट, और आप लेट्स से यू आर एयरलाइन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी और योर शिप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी, एंड यू आर मेकिंग शिप्स, यू आर मेकिंग एयरक्राफ्ट्स. सो दैट इज द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ अ शिप, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ एन एयरक्राफ्ट will be referred as intended for sale. This is what again you must remember. So see, obviously, agar if it is a case of making an aircraft, if it is a case of making a ship, obviously these assets will take substantial part of time in making. तो वहाँ आपको कुछ confusion नहीं है, लेकिन कुछ assets हो सकते हैं जहाँ there may be a discussion required, and that again will need to be, that call will need to be taken by the management of the business. Now, so depending on the circumstances, any of the following can be qualifying assets. So number one, inventories. As I said, what inventory? Inventory can be a qualifying asset, but what inventory? Not the normal inventory that we are talking about in case of a car manufacturing company, or in case of a motorcycle manufacturing company, or a refrigerator making company. So we are talking inventory in a case of a ship making company, aircraft making company, when the product is known to take substantial part of time. So that inventory we are talking about, not any and every inventory. That is what you must be very clear about. Number two, a manufacturing plant can be a qualifying asset. Power generation facilities can be a qualifying asset. Intangible assets can also be qualifying asset. So your company is working on development of a new design, new patent. So designing of a new patent, designing of or working on the producing a new design. Now these are the intangible assets. But remember, these intangible assets can also be qualifying asset as per Ind AS 23. Investment properties. So what are investment properties? Investment properties are the properties that you hold for earning rental income or for earning profit by selling them off. So those are the investment properties. So when you are building an investment property can also be a qualifying asset. And finally, bearer plants. Now what is bearer plants? Now bearer plants is something which is in the context of Ind AS 41, which is on agriculture. So what is a bearer plant? So bearer plants are those plants that produce not one time but multiple times. And so a mango orchid will be a bearer plant, because a mango orchid is going to give you the mangoes for number of years. So for all practical purposes, Ind AS 41, which is on agriculture, would define a mango orchid, as a bearer plant. So remember, a bearer plant can also be a qualifying asset. That means अगर आप एक और मैंगो ऑर्किड बना रहे हो, जमा रहे हो, लगा रहे हो, तो वो that also can be qualified for the capitalization of the interest. When will an entity capitalize the borrowing cost? That is the main question. Ind AS 23 कि कब आप बोरोइंग कॉस्ट को कैपिटलाइज कर सकते हो, यानी कि कब आप बोरोइंग कॉस्ट को क्वालिफाइंग एसेट के ऊपर लोड कर सकते हो. सो बोरोइंग कॉस्ट दैट आर डायरेक्टली एट्रीब्यूटेबल टू द एक्विजिशन, कंस्ट्रक्शन और प्रोडक्शन ऑफ अ क्वालिफाइंग एसेट. सो जब जो आप इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट आप पे कर रहे हो, वो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट कौन सा होना चाहिए? वो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट वो होना चाहिए विच इज डायरेक्टली एट्रीब्यूटेबल टू द क्वालिफाइंग एसेट. उस इंटरेस्ट को आप कैपिटलाइज कर सकते हो. अब यहां पर आप एक 3 चीजें मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूं और उसको मैं आपको समझा दूं. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ एक्विजिशन, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन, एंड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ प्रोडक्शन? बिकॉज अ क्वालिफाइंग एसेट इज समथिंग दैट आइदर यू आर एक्वायरिंग और यू आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग और यू आर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. सो एक्विजिशन का मतलब क्या है? आप एक प्रॉपर्टी, प्लांट एंड इक्विपमेंट है बाहर से खरीद रहे हो. सो दैट इज द एक्विजिशन ऑफ अ क्वालिफाइंग एसेट. देन कंस्ट्रक्शन. कंस्ट्रक्शन का मतलब क्या है? जैसे आप एक बिल्डिंग बना रहे हो, दैट इज कंस्ट्रक्शन. सो कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ अ बिल्डिंग विल बी अ क्वालिफाइंग एसेट. Production. So what is production? So you are a ship manufacturing company making ship. it is a ship production. You are an aircraft manufacturing company making an aircraft. This is production of a aircraft. So this is what you must understand as to when I say construction, manufacturing, and production, and that is what you must understand. Okay, let's go to the next one. When will an amount of borrowing cost be eligible for capitalization? So the borrowing costs that are directly attributable to the acquisition, construction, or production of a qualifying asset are those borrowing costs which would have been avoided if the expenditure on the qualifying asset had not been made. तो अब सवाल यह है कि कौन सी इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट को आप कैपिटलाइज करोगे, तो आप उस इंटरेस्ट को कैपिटलाइज करोगे जो कि अवॉइड किया जा सकता था. समझ के लीजिए. सो सवाल यह है कि कौन सी बोरोइंग कॉस्ट एलिजिबल है कैपिटलाइजेशन के लिए. तो इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट विच यू कुड हैव अवॉइडेड अदरवाइज इज एलिजिबल फॉर कैपिटलाइजेशन. क्या मतलब है? मतलब यह है कि अगर आप इस एसेट को परचेज ही ना करते तो ऑब्वियसली आप बोरो ना करते. आप बोरो ना करते तो आप इंटरेस्ट ना भरते. सो द इंटरेस्ट वुड हैव बीन अवॉइडेड. So which interest is eligible for capitalization? Interest which you could have avoided otherwise is eligible for capitalization. What about intangible asset? Is it construction? Okay, see, intangible asset is not construction. Intangible asset can be acquisition. Intangible asset can be production. Right? So when you are designing an intangible asset, you are working on a new intangible asset. Now, really speaking, what you are doing, you are producing a new design. So it may not fall into, it can fall into the category of acquisition because you are buying an intangible asset from someone outside, or you are producing, the research and development department of your own entity is working on a new design, is working on a new patent, and your own entity's R&D department is producing a new design or new patent or new technology, and that is where it will be intangible asset production or the acquisition. Hope that answers your question, Nikhil. ओके, सो व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस. अब सवाल देखो फ्रेंड्स, ये है कि समझ गए कि भाई कैपिटलाइजेशन क्या है, समझ गए बोरोइंग कॉस्ट क्या है, समझ गए कि क्वालिफाइंग एसेट क्या है, सब कुछ समझ में आ गया. पर एक सवाल जो ये है कि इज इट रियली सो इजी कि आप कोई भी बोरोइंग कॉस्ट को कैपिटलाइज कर दो? इज दैट सो सिंपल? नो, इट इज नॉट सो सिंपल. देयर आर थ्री चैलेंजेस. There are three challenges that you will face when it comes to capitalization of the borrowing cost. So which are the challenges? Challenge number one, when the financing activity of the entity is coordinated centrally. मतलब क्या है? मतलब यह है कि ग्रुप है और ग्रुप के 25 प्लांट हैं. 25 प्लांट इंडिया में जगह जगह फैले हुए हैं, और ये जो प्लांट हैं ये क्वालिफाइंग एसेट को कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हैं या एक्वायर कर रहे हैं या प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. और इन क्वालिफाइंग एसेट्स की जो फंडिंग है, दैट फंडिंग इज गेटिंग सेंट्रली कोऑर्डिनेटेड बाय द हेडक्वार्टर. देयर इज अ चैलेंज. व्हाई देयर इज अ चैलेंज? बिकॉज द यूनिट विच इज प्रोड्यूसिंग और कंस्ट्रक्टिंग or acquiring the qualifying asset does not have the detail as to how much is the borrowed component, how much is the equity component, जो asset है उसको किस तरह से फंड किया गया है. मतलब क्या वो पूरा लोन से फंड हुई है या पार्टली एक्विटी से फंड हुई है. सो दैट इंफॉर्मेशन इज नॉट अवेलेबल विद द यूनिट. सो दैट इज चैलेंज नंबर वन इन फाइंडिंग आउट कि कितना बोरोइंग कॉस्ट को कैपिटलाइज करना है. नंबर टू, the group uses a range of debt instruments at varying rate of interest. अब अगर आपको याद होगा, शुरू में मैंने आपसे बात करी थी जनरल बोरोइंग, स्पेसिफिक बोरोइंग. What is specific borrowing? Specific borrowing when you take a loan specifically for a particular qualifying asset. There is no confusion, there is a complete clarity. Why there is complete clarity? Because जिस asset के लिए आपने लोन लिया है, that loan is only for this particular asset only. तो इस लोन के ऊपर जो भी आप इंटरेस्ट भरोगे, that interest is to be loaded on capitalized only on this asset. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Where is the problem? The problem is about the general borrowing. एंड समझ के लिए, जैसा कि मैंने पहले एक्सप्लेन किया, दोबारा से बताता हूँ. जनरल बोरोइंग का क्या मतलब है? जनरल बोरोइंग का मतलब है कि ग्रुप लेवल पर और मे बी एट द एंटिटी लेवल ऑल्सो, डिवीजन लेवल ऑल्सो, देर आर नंबर ऑफ सोर्सेस फ्रॉम वेयर द डेट इज कमिंग, एंड द डेट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द नंबर ऑफ सोर्सेस, and even the rates of interest are also different. That is where you will have a challenge to decide as to what should be the amount eligible for the purpose of capitalization. It's a challenge, but it's not that it is an insurmountable challenge. You will have to do some calculation. What calculations? We will understand with the help of an example as we move forward. Third situation where there is a challenge in determining the amount of borrowing cost is complications arise through the use of loans denominated or linked to foreign currencies. तो जब आपकी जो borrowing है, when that borrowing is coming in the foreign currency or they are linked with the foreign currency, then also there is a challenge in determining as to how much should be the borrowing cost that you are eligible to capitalize. How to determine the amount of borrowing cost which is eligible for capitalization. So actual borrowing cost, अब देखो, अब ये सवाल क्या है, क्या बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग ये बात कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से डिसाइड करोगे कि कितनी अमाउंट, हाउ मच ऑफ द बोरोइंग कॉस्ट मस्ट बी कैपिटलाइज्ड. आंसर इज वेरी सिंपल. पहले डिटरमिन कर लो, पहले फाइंड आउट कर लो how much is the borrowing cost that you have incurred on the loan that you have taken. So you know how much is the borrowing cost. From this borrowing cost minus the income which you may have earned by way of temporary investment of the loan amount. क्या मतलब है कहने का मतलब ये है कि आपने जो लोन लिया, ये लोन कुछ समय तक आपके पास में अवेलेबल था और आपने क्या किया, उसको टेम्परेरीली कहीं इन्वेस्ट कर दिया. क्यों इन्वेस्ट कर दिया? क्योंकि भाई सीधी सी बात है, पैसा आपके पास में पड़ा है, इट इज़ नॉट अर्निंग यू एनीथिंग. सो इफ़ यू इन्वेस्ट इट आउटसाइड, इट विल एटलीस्ट अर्न समथिंग फॉर यू. सो कौन सी अमाउंट को कैपिटलाइज करोगे? इंटरेस्ट ऑन द डेट माइनस ये जो आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट करके जो इनकम कमाया उसको माइनस करोगे, and the difference is what you will capitalize. तो अगर मैं second question which is again connected, how to treat income earned from temporary investment of the borrowed funds. Now this is a question which is there in index 23 कि भाई आपने जो लोन लिया और उस लोन को टेम्परेरीली कहीं इन्वेस्ट कर दिया और उस इन्वेस्टमेंट से आपने इनकम कमाई, तो इस इनकम की आप अकाउंटिंग कैसे करोगे? आंसर इज सेम एज वी डिस्कस्ड जस्ट नाउ. ये जो इंटरेस्ट आपने कमाया है, इस इंटरेस्ट को लोन की अमाउंट में से डिडक्ट कर दो और जो बैलेंस अमाउंट बचेगी उसको कैपिटलाइज कर दो. सो गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. इंटरेस्ट, द बोरोइंग कॉस्ट विच इज कमिंग टू यू इज लेस से 5 लाख ऑफ रुपीज, और ये जो लोन को आपने इन्वेस्ट किया टेम्परेरीली, उस पे आपने 1 लाख का इंटरेस्ट कमाया, तो 5 लाख माइनस 1 लाख इज इक्वल टू 4 लाख. सो यू विल डू द कैपिटलाइजेशन अंडर इंडेक्स 23 of how much of the borrowing cost? Rupees 4 lakhs. So this is the answer to this question as to how to treat income earned from temporary investment of the borrowed funds. Welcome Vijay to the session, and welcome George. Good to see you. So this is how you will do it. So borrowing cost, my borrowing cost that is to be capitalized. How do you work out this figure? You work out this figure, actual borrowing cost incurred minus the investment income. So the difference is going to be your borrowing cost that you need to capitalize. So this is the response to the question as to how do you treat the income which you earn on temporary investment of the borrowed funds. अब एक थोड़ा जो डिफ़िकल्ट सवाल है, जो डिफ़िकल्ट क्वेश्चन है, डिफ़िकल्ट प्रोविज़न ये है, वो ये है कि अभी हमने कुछ देर पहले डिस्कस किया कि दो तरह की बोरोइंग्स हैं. एक है स्पेसिफिक बोरोइंग और दूसरी है जनरल बोरोइंग. और हमने समझा कि स्पेसिफिक बोरोइंग के कैपिटलाइजेशन में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, क्योंकि स्पेसिफिक बोरोइंग इज़ विद रिगार्ड टू अ पर्टिकुलर एसेट. तो अगर स्पेसिफिक बोरोइंग इज़ फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर एसेट, so whatever interest that you pay on this specific borrowing, the entire amount that interest is capitalized on this particular asset. Where is the problem? The problem is with regard to the general borrowing. And what is the general borrowing? General borrowing is कि entity ने in general लोन लिया है और वो लोन में से कुछ X ए एसेट को डाल दिए के पे दे दिया, कुछ फंड बी एसेट को परचेज करने के लिए यूज़ कर लिया, कुछ फंड्स सी एसेट को परचेज करने के लिए यूज़ कर लिया, कुछ फंड्स डी एसेट को परचेज करने के लिए यूज़ कर लिया. एंड नाउ रिमेंबर, इट इज़ नॉट दैट देयर इज अ वन जनरल लोन. 4-5 लोन जनरल लोन है, राइट. सो देयर आर 4-5 जनरल लोन्स दैट द एंटिटी हैज़ टेकन, और ये सारे लोन्स को मिला के वो 5-10 अलग अलग एसेट्स के ऊपर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया. इन सच ए केस, हाउ डू यू डिटरमिन द अमाउंट ऑफ बोरोइंग कॉस्ट दैट यू विल need to capitalize? So let me explain this to you. So what you will do in such a case, and please pay attention, what will you do in such a case? You will find out a capitalization rate. You will find out a capitalization rate. क्या मतलब है इसका, समझ के लीजिए. एंड आई विल ऑल्सो एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू विद द हेल्प ऑफ एन एग्जाम्पल. पहले थोड़ा सा समझ के ले लेते हैं. तो 4 लोन्स हैं अलग अलग अमाउंट के, और चारों लोन्स के ऊपर रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट भी अलग अलग है. फाइंड आउट द वेटेड कॉस्ट ऑफ दीज बोरोइंग्स. आया समझ में? सो 4 लोन हैं अलग अलग अमाउंट के, और चारों लोन्स के ऊपर अलग अलग रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट हैं. तो क्या करना है आपको वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट ऑफ दीज बोरोइंग्स यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट. कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे? फाइंड आउट द इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन 1, इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन 2, इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन 3, इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन 4. ये चारों लोन की अमाउंट को टोटल करो, और जो आपने लोन लिए हैं उससे ये जो लोन लिया है आपने उसको डिवाइड करो, एंड यू विल गेट अ वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट ऑफ बोरोइंग. नाउ दिस टेल्स यू कि आपने जो बोरोइंग्स लिए हैं आपके बिजनेस में, उसकी एवरेज कॉस्ट ऑफ बोरोइंग क्या है. अब आपको क्या करना है? अब आपको ये जो रेट है, ये रेट आपको अप्लाई करनी है टू द अमाउंट ऑफ फंड्स दैट यू हैव यूज्ड फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर क्वालिफाइंग एसेट. सो लेट्स से 4 अलग अलग लोन्स लिए, और चार लोन्स लिए, और चारों लोन्स का टोटल अमाउंट हुआ 1 करोड़, और इस 1 करोड़ के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट हो गया लेट्स से 10 लाख. सो दैट मीन्स 10 लाख. दैट मीन्स your weighted average cost of borrowing is 10%, and this is your capitalization rate. And now please pay attention. Now out of these 1 crore, you have used 50 lakh on asset X. So 50 lakhs into 10%. 5 lakh is the borrowing cost that you will capitalize on asset A. So this is how you will do you will find out the amount eligible for capitalization in case of general borrowings. Let us understand this with the help of an example. So what you have, there is a company called J Limited, and this company J Limited has taken 3 different loans. एक जून को लिया $5,000 का, एक अक्टूबर को लिया $10,000 का, एक नवंबर को लिया $10,000 का. So this company has taken 3 different loans on 3 different dates. And obviously इन लोन्स की रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट अलग अलग हैं. तो जो लोन हैं वो लॉन्ग टर्म लोन है. सो एक 10 years वाला है 35,000 का, उसकी रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है 10%. One is of 5 years, the rate of interest is 8%. And there's short term loan, average balance is 12,000 and the interest is 1,600. And there's a bank overdraft, average balance is 5,000 and the interest on that is 500. So the total loan amount is 62,000 and total interest cost that is paid by this entity is 6,400. So what is the weighted average cost of the borrowing? The weighted average cost of borrowing is 10.3%. And so that means what this entity has to do, this entity has to find out the amount eligible, amount of borrowing eligible with regard to the asset, which is going to be 10.3%. So the funds were used on 3 different dates. And those dates were on 1st June, $5,000 was used. On 1st October, $10,000 was used. On 1st November, $10,000 was used. So this was the utilization of the funds on this particular qualifying asset. And these are the loans that you have taken, as I mentioned just now. And the average weighted cost of borrowing is coming 10.3%. And that means what the entity will need to do, the entity will need to apply this capitalization rate on 3 tranches of the funds which have been used for the given asset. So उसमें 5 million was used for 7 months at the rate of 10.3. The amount of the cost comes to 300, and like that you calculate, and the total amount comes to $730,000. So $730,000 is the amount of borrowing cost that will need to be capitalized in respect of this particular asset. The question is, can the amount of borrowing cost that an entity capitalizes exceed the amount of borrowing cost it incurred during that period? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Why the answer is no? Because you obviously cannot capitalize more than what you have incurred. So the maximum amount of interest that you can capitalize in respect of a qualifying asset is the amount of the interest or the amount of borrowing cost that you have incurred with regard to that asset. So it can never happen that you capitalize higher amount than the actual borrowing cost in your case. So that is the answer is very 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 simple and very clear कि आप किसी भी परिस्थिति में कोई भी एंटिटी जितनी बोरोइंग कॉस्ट है उससे ज़्यादा अमाउंट कैपिटलाइज नहीं कर सकती. दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर एंड फंडामेंटल. And how will you treat excess of the carrying amount of the qualifying asset over its recoverable amount? अब देखिए, दिस इज पॉसिबल, ऐसा हो सकता है. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन द कैरिंग अमाउंट of the asset of the qualifying asset is, let's say, 200,000. Carrying amount of the qualifying asset is 200,000. यानी कि आपकी बुक्स में उस एसेट की वैल्यू 2 लाख रुपए दिखाई दे रही है. अगर आप इस एसेट को आज मार्केट में सेल करने जाओ, अगर आप इस एसेट को आज मार्केट में सेल करने जाओ तो क्या होगा? तो आपको मैक्सिमम 1,80,000 मिलेंगे. राइट. सो कैरिंग अमाउंट कितना है? 2 लाख रुपए का. रियलाइजेबल वैल्यू कितनी है? 1,80,000. और अगर आप इस एसेट को आपके बिजनेस में यूज करोगे, that means the cash flow which this asset will generate for you over its economic life is, let's say, 1,50,000. So carrying amount कितना है? 2 लाख. Realizable from sale कितना है? 1,80,000. Value in use or present value of the future cash flows that will generate from the use of this asset is how much? 1.5 lakh. So is there an impairment? And the answer is yes. How much is the amount of impairment? The amount of impairment, remember, is the difference between the carrying amount and the recoverable amount. What is recoverable amount? Recoverable amount is greater of recoverable amount is greater of the value in use and the realizable value. So in this case, realizable value is 1,80,000, value in use is 1,50,000. So therefore the recoverable amount is 1,80,000. So recoverable amount is 1,80,000, carrying amount is 2 lakhs. That means 2 lakh minus 1,80,000, the difference is 20,000. There is a case of impairment to the extent of rupees 20,000. So what you do as per Ind AS 23, in a case like this, you take the difference as impairment and charge it to the profit and loss account. Now the second question that should come to your mind: can this amount of impairment be reversed in future? And the answer is yes. As per Ind AS 36, which is on impairment of assets, Ind AS 36 very clearly says any amount of impairment when charged to the P&L, if it is recovered in subsequent years, then this amount to the extent of written off can be written back. So अगर ये जो 20,000 का इम्पेयरमेंट हमने अभी चार्ज किया है, अगर ये फ्यूचर में रिवर्स होता है तो हम इस इम्पेयरमेंट को राइट बैक कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज द क्वेश्चन, आंसर टू द क्वेश्चन, हाउ विल यू ट्रीट एक्सेस ऑफ द कैरिंग अमाउंट of the qualifying asset over its recoverable amount. Is it necessary to borrow the money from financial institute only? No, not an issue, Nikhil. So long as you have a borrowing which is well documented and which is on the record of the entity, doesn't really matter as to where does it come from. It will of course be eligible for the purpose of capitalization of interest. So Ind AS 23 does not put a condition that the debt has to come from a particular source or sources. Ind AS 23 only talks in terms of that there has to be a debt. I hope that answers your question, Nikhil. Right. So from which date to commence capitalization of the borrowing cost? So now the question is कि as per Ind AS किस तारीख से आप borrowing cost की capitalization कर सकते हो? So the according to Ind AS 23, the capitalization of the borrowing cost can be done from the when it meets the following condition. So what are the conditions? Condition number one, it incurs expenditure for the asset. That is condition number one. सीधी सी बात है, जब तक आप एसेट को बनाना शुरू नहीं करोगे, एसेट के ऊपर खर्चा करना शुरू नहीं करोगे, तब तक आप उसके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट को कैपिटलाइज नहीं कर सकते हैं. दैट्स कंडीशन नंबर वन. कंडीशन नंबर टू, इट incurs the borrowing cost. सीधी सी बात है, जब तक borrowing cost ही नहीं है, what can you capitalize? So the second condition is there must be a borrowing cost. So there must be a loan taken, and on that loan the entity must be paying interest. And the third condition is the entity undertakes activities that are necessary to prepare the asset for its intended use or intended sale. So ये तीन एक्टिविटीज जब कंप्लीट हो जाती हैं, फ्रॉम दैट डेट the entity can commence capitalization of the borrowing cost as per Ind AS 23. यानी कि आपने लोन ले लिया हो, आपने एसेट को बनाने का काम शुरू कर दिया हो, और उसके अलावा आपने उस एसेट से रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज के ऊपर काम करना शुरू कर दिया हो. तो जब ये तीनों कंडीशन हो जाएं, फ्रॉम दैट डेट द एंटिटी कैन स्टार्ट capitalizing the borrowing cost. Then the question, many times it happens in any business, the government, to promote industrialization, particularly of the backward areas, backward regions, comes out with different kinds of incentives to the industry. तो इंडस्ट्री को मोटिवेट करने के लिए, इंडस्ट्री को इंस्पायर करने के लिए, इंडस्ट्री को एनकरेज करने के लिए, सो दैट दीज इंडस्ट्रीज गो टू द बैकवर्ड एरियाज एंड सेट अप देयर ऑपरेशंस देयर, व्हाट the government does, the government comes out with different incentives, and one of the incentive is in the form of a grant. So what is grant? Grant is kind of compensation given to an entity for incurring capital expenditure. तो अगर एक एंटिटी को गवर्नमेंट से ग्रांट मिला हुआ है, तो हाउ शुड दिस ग्रांट बी रिकॉर्डेड एज पर Ind AS 23 इन द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स और इन द बुक्स ऑफ द एंटिटी. अब देखिए, इस चीज़ के बारे में हमको उसके पहले एक चीज़ और समझनी पड़ेगी, और वो ये कि व्हाट ऑल कंप्राइज ऑफ द टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ द क्वालिफाइंग एसेट. यानी कि जो क्वालिफाइंग एसेट बना रहे हैं, उसके कॉस्ट कंपोनेंट्स कौन से हैं, व्हाट आर द कॉस्ट एलिमेंट्स ऑफ द कॉस्ट फॉर द क्वालिफाइंग एसेट. सो द फर्स्ट एलिमेंट इज द कैश पेमेंट्स, द एक्सपेंडिचर्स which result from the cash payment for the construction or production or acquisition of that asset. तो जो कैश में जो आप कैश पेमेंट कर रहे हो उस एसेट को खड़ा करने के लिए या खरीदने के लिए या बनाने के लिए, दैट इज कॉस्ट नंबर वन. कॉस्ट नंबर टू, ट्रांसफर ऑफ अदर एसेट्स. सो इट इज पॉसिबल इन सर्टेन केसेस दैट यू मे कंज्यूम वन एसेट फॉर बिल्डिंग अनदर एसेट. सो the cost of the asset that you sacrifice for constructing the qualifying asset is the second element of the cost of the qualifying asset. And the third element is assumption of interest bearing liabilities. यानी कि जो आप लोन लिए हो और उस लोन पे जो आप इंटरेस्ट भर रहे हो, that interest is also the part of the cost of the qualifying asset. So what you do with the grant that you receive, तो ये जो टोटल जो कॉस्ट है एसेट की, the total of all the three elements, cash payments on the construction of the asset or on the acquisition of the asset or on the production of the asset. So cash payment, number two, asset that you have sacrificed or you have consumed or you have used or you have given. And third, interest that you are paying on the loan that you have taken for these assets. All of them put together is the total cost of the asset minus the amount of grant that you have received from the government. And whatever remains balance, that will reflect in the balance sheet of the entity as carrying amount of that asset. So this is the accounting treatment that you will do as per Ind AS 20. And Ind AS 20 is regarding grant from the government and accounting of assistance from the government. So this is the connection between Ind AS 23, which is on the borrowing cost, and Ind AS 20, which is on accounting of the grant from the government or the assistance from the government. What is the effective period of capitalization of the borrowing cost? Very simple. जिस तारीख से आप कैपिटलाइजेशन, जिस तारीख से आप लोन लेते हो और एसेट्स को बनाना शुरू करते हो या एसेट्स से रिलेटेड जो भी एक्टिविटीज़ हैं वो शुरू करते हो, फ्रॉम दैट डेट to the date on which the asset is complete. That means substantially all the work required for completing the qualifying asset is over. This is going to be the effective period of capitalization. So अगर मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूं तो 1 जनवरी को आपने एसेट को बिल्ड करना शुरू किया, 1 जनवरी को आपने लोन लिया और 31 दिसंबर को सारा काम कंप्लीट हो गया. So the effective period for capitalization of the interest will be from 1st January till 31st December. 31st December के बाद में जो इंटरेस्ट आप भरोगे, will you capitalize that interest? Answer is no. And why the answer is no? Because the asset is already complete. So if the asset is already complete and you cannot capitalize the interest, then what do you do with that interest that you pay after 31st December or after the date on which the asset is complete? Interest that you pay after the date of completion of the asset, you will take it to the profit and loss account. What is the suspension of capitalization of the borrowing cost? So जैसा मैंने आपको शुरू में बताया, सस्पेंशन ऑफ कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ द बोरोइंग कॉस्ट का मतलब ये है कि ये जो साल जो इफेक्टिव पीरियड था 1 जनवरी से लेके 31 दिसंबर का, अगर ये 12 महीने के पीरियड में किसी कारण से 1 महीने आपका काम बंद रहा और चूंकि काम बंद रहा, काम कुछ हुआ नहीं, तो ये जो पीरियड है इसमें आपका काम सस्पेंडेड रहा. तो ये 1 महीने जब आपका काम सस्पेंडेड था तो उस महीने के लिए जो इंटरेस्ट अमाउंट होगा आप उसको कैपिटलाइज नहीं कर सकते हैं. यू कैन नॉट एड दैट इंटरेस्ट एज पार्ट ऑफ योर एसेट. What when does suspension of the capitalization of the borrowing cost happen? So जब whenever, as I said the same example, तो जब the work is suspended, when does suspension of capitalization of the borrowing cost happen? So during the extended period, so जो किसी कारण से if the construction of the asset is taking longer and that extended period is for no reason, during that period no capitalization of the interest cost. Which are the circumstances when the entity will capitalize the borrowing cost even though the work is suspended? तो कहने का क्या मतलब है कि ऐसी कौन सी सिचुएशन है जब इवन दो काम रुका हुआ है फिर भी इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट को कैपिटलाइज किया जाएगा. So if it is a normal situation, so that means if it is normal to suspend the work and which is part of the entire process, in such situations, even though the work is suspended, the entity will still be eligible to capitalize the interest for this suspended period. For example, जैसा कि मैंने शुरू में कहा, the entity is constructing a bridge. But the level of water has gone up. Since the level of water has gone up, the work cannot be done. So it is suspended because of the situation. So in such a case, the entity will be eligible to capitalize the interest even though the work is suspended, because this is a situation which is not in the control of the entity, or rather it is a normal to do that. That means अगर पानी का लेवल बढ़ गया है तो ब्रिज का कंस्ट्रक्शन आपको रोकना ही है. दिस इज नॉर्मल. In that case, the entity will be eligible to capitalize the interest without any problem. What is the cessation of capitalization? Cessation of capitalization का मतलब है कि कब इंटरेस्ट को कैपिटलाइज करना बंद करेंगे. तो कब बंद करेंगे? जिस दिन आपकी एसेट कंप्लीट हो जाएगी उस दिन से इंटरेस्ट को कैपिटलाइजेशन को बंद करेंगे. सो दैट विल बी द सेसेशन ऑफ कैपिटलाइजेशन फ्रॉम द डेट व्हेन द एसेट इज कंप्लीट. सो एंड दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. सो जो भी आपका इंटेंडेड यूज है, या वो यूज के लिए है या सेल के लिए है, सारी एक्टिविटीज कंप्लीट हो चुकी हैं. नाउ यू कैन नॉट capitalize interest, capitalize the borrowing cost on the qualifying asset. And the last one, how about cessation of capitalization when in it? अच्छा, इसका क्या मतलब है? इसका मतलब ये है कि एक एंटिटी है और एक प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रही है. उसके 4 हिस्से हैं. 4 हिस्से में से एक हिस्सा कंप्लीट हो गया, एंड दैट पर्टिकुलर पार्ट कैन इंडिपेंडेंटली बी सोल्ड और बी यूज्ड. In that case, what you do? In that case, only with regard to that part, you cease capitalization of the interest. With regard to the remaining 3, you continue to capitalize the interest for the remaining 3 parts until the time those 3 parts are also complete and ready. So friends, with this we come to the end of our discussion on Ind AS 23, which is about the borrowing cost. To sum it up before I close, Ind AS 23 is about the capitalization of the borrowing cost. अगर मुझसे पूछे तो मेरे हिसाब से इसका जो टाइटल है वो होना चाहिए कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ बोरोइंग कॉस्ट एंड नॉट मियरली बोरोइंग कॉस्ट, बिकॉज Ind AS 23 रियली स्पीकिंग does not talk about does not talk about the borrowing cost. It primarily talks about how to do the accounting of the borrowing cost. And number 2, क्यों करना है? Why borrowing cost? Why Ind AS 23 is important? Ind AS 23 is important because किसी भी एसेट में, in most of the cases, borrowing cost is a major component of the asset, and therefore it has to be reflected as part of the asset. Number 2, please remember, the interest that you are paying for construction of an asset, it has to be added to the asset only. If you don't do it, you charge it to P&L. Your P&L will not be reflecting the correct position. Your P&L will be showing unduly high interest cost. So if your P&L is going to show unduly high interest cost, that means the profit of that year will be depressed, and that will not be giving correct picture of the business or the entity of that year, which is what is to be avoided, which is why we have the indices to ensure that the financial statements reflect the correct position, so that the user of the financial statement is able to make good use of the financial statements for the purpose of taking economic decisions. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of this session. We would continue tomorrow with another Ind AS. Again at 8:30 sharp we start, and we finish it by about 10 o'clock. You of course can invite all your friends who may be interested to understand indices. Remember, if you are an accounting professional, if you are an auditing professional, if you are a finance professional, understanding of Ind AS is absolutely imperative for you. Even if you are a valuation professional, understanding of Ind AS is absolutely imperative for you. And therefore, to take advantage of these sessions which are available during the lockdown period every day from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, except on Wednesdays and on Sunday. So friends, do take care of yourself, do take care of your environment, do take care of your people, recommend to everybody, suggest to everybody, persuade everybody, ensure everybody follows the rules of lockdown. Remember, it is not necessary that you and I should follow the lockdown. It is not only that you and I have to follow, everybody has to follow. Only when everybody follows the rules of the lockdown, then only all of us are safe and secure. If anyone breaks the rule of lockdown, remember, he is not only endangering himself, but he is endangering everybody. Today, we are in the times of COVID. It is a Mahayagya. All of us will have to give a sacrifice. Every one of us. This is a problem of not one person, not a family, not a mohalla, not a society, not a state, not a district. It is not a problem of a country. It is a problem of the entire world. And if this problem has to be resolved, then everybody from the world will have to contribute. Everybody will have to sacrifice. Every one of us will have to ask ourselves as to what can I do to ensure that this problem of COVID is thrown away as fast as possible and as far as possible. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and see you once again tomorrow. Thank you.